I want to get some big picture analysis of the budget situation here in Australia, and for that I want to go to Gigi Foster, who's a Professor of Economics at the University of New South Wales. Good to talk to you again, Gigi. We're right out of time today. There's so much I've got to cram in this last part of the program, but I suppose in a nutshell, what I'd love to hear from you is how much of a problem the debt situation is for Australia, going to $1 trillion, and is the way to fix that more tax cuts or tax reform, or do we actually have, as some in the left would say, we need to increase taxes to pay it down? What's our way out of this?
No, I definitely don't think we should be increasing taxes on working people. I think it would be great to address the corporate tax evasion problem and many of the other structural problems in Australia's economy, from the excess deaths to the corruption to the inflation to the productivity slump. I mean, there's a number of them that don't get addressed at all in this budget. Of course, what we see is, as you would expect, leading into an election, lots of handouts to various different groups for various different purposes, lots of virtue signaling on obviously the green energy agenda and also in terms of women's health and aged care and childcare, but without really taking seriously the structural problems in those sectors. And I actually think we could do a lot better with a lot less. The problem with debt, as we've discussed before, Chris, is that when you have to pay it back, every dollar you're paying it back with is not going to something else that directly helps Australian people. And so that was the reason I was worried about the deficit, spending during the COVID era. And we are still spending on the debt that we amassed during that era. And nobody really seems to be talking about that anymore. But because we are repaying the debt, we're not spending on actual structural reform.
But when we're looking at what alternative Peter Dutton could put up, for instance, it might pay to deliver tax reform, that is, cut some taxes, perhaps corporate taxes, to encourage investment and growth, even if that increases your deficits in the short term.
Sure. If you have an increase in the deficit for reasons that are going to stoke productivity, I have no problem with that at all. I think that's exactly the kind of government spending that you want. The problem with a lot of the COVID era spending is it wasn't tied to increasing the productivity or ultimate long run welfare of Australia. So, of course, if we can find ways, and that's exactly what we should be doing, to invest in Australia's productive capacity, in its health and wealth going forward, then we should. And there are some things in this budget that look like they're moving in that direction, such as filling in childcare deserts, for example. I think also increasing the number of GPs we have relative to specialists, because GPs actually are better at delivering healthcare that is cost effective relative to specialists often. So there are some things that I like, but in general, this is a lot of cash flashes, and there really is no attempt to address the ongoing debt crisis or the structural problems in many sectors that are holding the economy back, including over-regulation, government overreach, and over-bureaucratization.
Yeah, sing it loud. Gigi Foster, thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it. Gigi Foster there, who's the Professor of Economics at the University of New South Wales.